Welcome to Silent Podcast, the place where we're anything but silent. I'm your host, Josiane, and today we're with our most recent evicted house guest and fourth evicted jury member, Tola. Tola, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am so good. Thank you for asking. I'm so excited to pick your brain about the game and talk about the season. So, my first question for you is what was your initial strategy in the game and how did it evolve when you actually got into the house?
My initial strategy was to remain myself, and I wanted everybody to avoid running off in groups. And by doing that, I remained in the kitchen and created fun little games. So I prevented people from wandering off, and I brought them to me.
All right. So you had a few connections in the beginning of the game. Who were your top three allies?
Top three allies would be Anthony, Lexus, and Matthew. But obviously Matthew has been gone.
All right. Who would have been your ideal final two?
My ideal final two would have been me and Anthony.
Okay. So with so many connections in the house, did you ever feel like there was a hierarchy in the house, and who did you think was at the top and at the bottom of the hierarchy?
There are so many connections in the house. I never really looked at it as a ranking system, but I do feel that I was at the bottom for a majority of it. I'm not too sure how it's going to be portrayed, but other than that, at the top, maybe Anthony.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so let's focus more a little bit on your game. In week 4, you hit the block for the first time and the executive power veto was played. How did you feel that when Victoria used it on Todd and not you?
I felt confident. I I knew how the gameplay was going to be played out. I knew that Todd would use it, put up Vivek. I knew how the house was going to be played out, so I felt confident. I knew how the numbers. I knew that I was not going home that day.
Okay. Well, you also, from that point of the house, it seemed like there was two sides. How would you organize those sides, and do you believe that people were playing in the middle?
There were people playing in the middle. Victoria was playing in the middle. I was sort of on a side, but I don't know if everybody sees it that way. I think people felt like I was sort of like a loner. Because I didn't run around the house a lot, right? I didn't run around, I didn't talk a lot of smack, I didn't go in different rooms and stuff, whatnot. I just sort of I stuck to the people that I was close with and sort of just listened in to what was going on in the house.
Well, let's talk about movie Massacre Night, because that was intense. Tell me.
Crazy!
Tell me your perspective and how did you feel once Kayla won that power veto?
Once Kayla won that power veto, I already had a backup plan. So that plan was obviously to get Goose back up there because he was targeting me also. So then I didn't really care for her too much. She took herself off the block, as I did expect her to beat me in that puzzle. And simple, I just saved her for another day. No problem.
All right. During your HOH, you did get to talk to Kevin Jacobs. What was your takeaway from that conversation?
When Kevin and I spoke, he sort of just reassured me. Everything that he said basically is what I was thinking and the way I was maneuvering through the game. I just wanted some reassurance, and he just, I didn't have to say much because he's basically telling me exactly what I am doing and what I should do. And I was already thinking that. So to hear it from him, it was great.
Did it stir something in your mind about how you wanted to approach the game moving forward?
Yeah, it just basically try to prepare me to, the thing we said was to burn the boats, right? And I was willing and ready to burn the boats. And by that, I mean, I'm going to have to let go of some of the people that I have been working with. And I was that close to do that.
Well, you did win HOH this week and you put up Avery and Bailey, but we saw you have a conversation with Todd about Spicy V needing to be the target. So I have to ask, why didn't you put up Victoria?
I didn't put up Victoria because she was an easy target, right? And I wanted Todd to do it. I wanted someone else to do it. I wanted to buy myself time to get into the next round. So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to put up Victoria because it was too easy for me. I knew she wasn't going to be able to beat me. So I wanted to take out the two targets that were coming after me all season. And that was that was my move. I had to do that because if I kept her in the game, they would have came after me anyway. So I just based my strategy and thoughts there on Victoria not winning HOH, and I didn't think that she'd had the ability to take me out, and I knew that the other two girls did. So that's why I did that.
Well, I'm curious, had you stayed this week and won HOH, who would you have targeted?
I would have targeted Victoria and Bailey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as a jury member, you are able to help crown the season's winner. What criteria and factors will you take into consideration when casting your final vote?
Like, my criteria are pretty simple. It's going to be based on loyalty and the way the game was played. And I understand that the game involves somewhat of a betrayal, but it's based on how that betrayal was, what's that word I'm looking for? Was how that betrayal was executed. Is basically how I would look at it, because really the remaining house guests, they are all great people and they've all played a great game in their own way. I just want to know how they proceeded with the betrayal. Like, I got betrayed, although I saved that gremlin. But anyways, that's how I would do it. Criteria is based on loyalty and the moves that they made during the game and how they executed the betrayal.
All right. So if you had to rank the current house guest games from best to worst, how would you rank them?
With the remaining house guests?
Yes.
Best game, I would go Anthony, Todd, Bailey, Lexus. Victoria, Lexus. No, Lexus, Victoria.
All right. Well, I want to switch gears and play a game of superlatives. It's a game that I've been playing this whole season. So I'll give you superlatives and you can attribute it to the house guest. Any house guest is available, and you can give one superlative to multiple house guests or just pick the same house guest if you feel it applies.
So what do you do?
So I'm going to ask you a question and you just state me who you think that belongs to.
Sure, let's do this.
All right. So who do you think is the sneakiest player?
With the remaining house guests?
Yes.
Okay. Sneakiest player would be Billy.
Okay. Who do you think is the most underrated player?
Todd.
Okay. Who do you think is the most underestimated player in the house?
Underestimated? Todd.
Okay. Who do you think is the most at risk?
Lexus.
Okay. Who do you want to see win and who do you think will win?
I want to see Anthony win, and I think Bailey will win, but I want to see Anthony win.
Okay. Who would you like to see join you in the jury this week?
I want to see Bailey join me in the jury house. I want to see Bailey join me in the house. That's right. You're hearing it first on Silent Podcast. That girl.
Wow. Tola, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. We can't wait to see what you and the rest of the jury decide on finale night. And I want you a great day.
Be prepared for finale night because your boy Tola's coming out hot. Be the King's Most Wanted. Signing off the Silent Podcast.